my name is Miranda and today I'm here to review episode 4 of The Gifted. This episode, I have to say, was like the turning point in the series. I feel like even though it was only like episode 4, because this was the episode that was all about getting Lorna and Reed out of prison and finally back with the rest of the characters. We got to see how kind of all their powers can work together nicely, especially Lauren and Andy. That was really cool to see them be able to figure out how their powers work together, and I know people have been hinting that that's like a bigger thing, potentially why that doctor is so interested in them, because like individually they're very powerful, but put them together and they're like the most powerful we've seen, which I think is like, that's like the inkling of what's to come, kind of like they've discovered that they can combine their powers, and what else they can do with them, who knows. Like, the world is open to all possibilities for them now. But what I really like about The Gifted, and this episode utilized it very well, was that there's such an eclectic mix of X-Men, and because of the movies, we really only see the X-Men, you know, the big names. Magneto, Professor X, Mystique, all those ones, you know, Storm, Wolverine, but there's so many different powers, and it's really great that this show is being able to showcase all the different ones. So we met a new mutant at the beginning of this episode in a flashback called Pulse, who has what could be the scariest mutation I could think of, like, for powers, in that he can shut down other mutants' powers, which I feel like, okay, I feel like there's always a downside to your powers, right? Like, you can't be too powerful. That dude's power, I was like, I am terrified of this if I was a mutant. And what makes it even worse is that this was Johnny's best friend, who is I'm assuming, was brainwashed after being kidnapped and left for dead in a, like, kind of prison break that went wrong. We did see, like, that little mark he had on him, which I'm guessing is, like, I don't know, just, like, he's under our control, like if Sentinel Services sees him or anything like that. And I do have to say, oh my gosh, I was so worried when Johnny was like, it's me, like, it's your friend, come on, this isn't you. Like, how many times did that happen? And you're like, just knock the effer out, like, come on, he's ruining everything. And, like, Johnny started doing that for a while, like, come on, it's me. And I was like, Johnny, just knock him out. And then Johnny just, and, like, knocks him right out. And I was like, thank you for finally doing the thing that all the movies and TV shows refuse to do. But now this also, I feel like, adds, like, a sense of just terror to mutants now, because not only can you get killed, you could be turned into a weapon against your friends, which I think is one of the worst things that could ever happen. And I assume, I don't know, they really didn't hint at it, but I'm assuming that's where Lorna was going, and then Lorna was going to be brainwashed into working against all the mutant underground, because she is very powerful, as we saw in the escape thing when she took the 3 metal things from Reed, which was so like, oh, what better way to show that, like, I'm on your side than being like, take the screws that are keeping my leg together, like, pfft. Like, she was so cool. And I loved even Johnny said it when, like, she busted open the door and Johnny's like to Marcos, yeah, it doesn't look like she needs your help, like, Lorna can totally handle herself. So that would have been really horrifying if they had gotten her on their side. The only thing, though, I think that's a saving grace is that it didn't seem like they are able to talk about it, because, I mean, they would have known where the mutant underground is, I assume, if Pulse had talked. So, like, since Lorna, again, we got the confirmation that Lorna is the one that started this with Johnny, like, that would have been super bad if they had, like, gotten Lorna, like, they brainwashed her into saying everything. But it doesn't look like that's part of what they're doing. I don't know if, like Pulse is actually in there, or if they, like, lobotomized him or something, you know, so, like, he has no emotions. Or I'm wondering if maybe it's, like, another mutant that can control them or, like, make them do that, but then that mutant would have had to also, no, not necessarily, I guess, like, kind of like a dreamer maybe, like, implant memories that make you kind of submissive to what's happening. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Pulse. I feel like that's going to be Johnny's driving storyline along with Clarice, because poor Clarice, she's not doing so good with those memories. Like, she's starting to, like, you know, it's like when you have a memory that's not your own, but, like, literally all she has of the memory is, like, kissing him, no lead up to it, no anything, like, no when it happened, why it happened, anything like that. Yeah, you start to question, like, what's happening. So you even saw that with her when she's like, should we go outside when you first met? And he was like, no, we didn't. And she's not sleeping well. And I feel like that's going to be very problematic if they don't tell her soon, because either A, she's going to figure out and get pissed they didn't tell her, or B, it's going to start to affect her powers badly, because, like, obviously if you're stressed and, like, constantly doubting yourself and your memories, it's not the best feeling in the world to help you focus. And also just Lorna being back in the group is honestly amazing. I mean, Reed's back too, but it's like, hey, cool. Like, I loved Reed's speech, how he was just like, I realize now that I'm the bad guy. And Lorna was just like, congratulations. Like, there's 500 people that could have told you that. Thank you. And she was just so done with him. And, like, I do think we got a good hint, though, that Lorna sometimes might put her pride above her survival in a way, because, like, she refused to talk to Reed and even think about getting out of there, which, because she hates Reed. And he finally got her to be like, look, if we have a chance to get out, you need to be with me and I need to know that you'll help me take it. And she was finally like, yeah. And I feel like that was like a begrudging truce. She kind of like was ready to like bite her nose off to spite her face, which really worried me. But her reunion scene with Marcos was so cute because she just like jumped into his arms and he lifted her up, and she was like already jumping, like, I know he's gonna lift me up. And it was just so, it was everything I wanted. I can't wait to see how they interact, even though I'm sure there's going to be many discussions, potential arguments about Marcos now working with the cartel, because he's now on their, not even payroll, just he's in their role. Like, he has to help them because that's how they got Lorna back. I just think now it's going to be a different vibe for the show, like I said, because now this kind of mission that we have of getting Lorna and Reed, they're back, they're reunited, so what's been driving these last couple episodes, we need to reset that, and I think the reset is going to be what you saw at the end, when the Sentiel Services guy went cuckoo and was like, I want them all, I want everyone who's helped them, every contact we have, like, we're bringing this down. And I was like, sir, like, I understand, but you're also a dick, so calm down. Like, I just feel like that's going to be it now, is that what we saw before is going to be so hyped now. It's going to be like every single mutant that potentially could be a threat, every single mutant that potentially had contact with the underground, everyone's family, everyone's sympathizer, you know, like, it's going to be kind of like a new turning point in that, like, it's going to get even worse for the mutants. So I'm just really excited to see where it's going to go. I feel like the whole escape thing was very cool because, like I said, I like seeing the different powers and how everyone kind of worked together, even though it was only 5 of them. I hope Lorna's like, screw all of you people who wouldn't come for me. She's not gonna, but that would just be so funny. It also was the first time that I felt like the show felt a little cliche, just because, like, they were all like, yeah, this plan's gonna go great, and I was like, no, it's not, and then it didn't. And, like, I was honestly, like, worried they weren't gonna be able to get them in time, because it was like 5 minutes left in the show and things were not looking great. So I do hope that maybe, like, their next standoff feels a little more balanced, in that the mutants aren't so like, everything is going wrong. Like, I want to see, I thought this would be able to show you, and you kind of did see it with Caitlin, in that even when the mutants lost their powers, they figured out ways to fight back. So, like, Johnny is a very strong fighter, he can punch, stuff like that. Caitlin used the little, I'm assuming it's like epidural or something, like epidural, it's a pregnancy thing, epinephrine or something that, like, knocked the dude out. And I just like that you kind of got to see, like, their fighters aside from their powers, so I hope they develop that more and kind of train themselves more with that. Even Lorna was, like, punching that security guard, you know, so I want to see more of that they don't just depend on their powers, which will be interesting. But if you have seen this episode of The Gifted that kind of changed everything, please feel free to leave your thoughts about down below, what you think of Lorna being back, Marco's working with the cartel now, this new guy Pulse, because, like I said, that dude just... So thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!